Hi there, my fellow writers. How many times have you sat at your keyboard, your fingers hovering, staring at a blank screen, and thought to yourself, I'm just not in the mood to write today? I was feeling a bit like that this week. And unfortunately, I've been there far more times than I care to count. Writing a fiction book sounds like a dream for a lot of people until you're halfway through about chapter 6 and every word feels like it's dragging bricks uphill with your teeth. But here's the thing, there's a huge difference between those writers who finish their books and those who don't. And it's got nothing to do with talent or inspiration. It's got to do about showing up, even when you're not in the mood. So today I've got 5 quick tips that might help you keep you writing your fiction book, even on those days you don't feel like it. The first one is to embrace the ugly first draft. Far too many new authors in particular are so worried about getting everything perfect, they actually paralyze themselves, which makes it very difficult to write. You don't have to write something good, especially not in your first draft. You just have to write something. Your first draft in particular is meant to be messy. It's meant to be the hot pile of creative chaos because that's where the magic starts. So instead of worrying that you haven't got a scene quite right or you haven't got the wording quite right, just write it anyway, because you can always go back and change it later on. You can't edit a blank page, but you can definitely fix a messy one. The second idea that might help you if you're really not feeling that motivated is to, sometimes, like I have a daily word count, right? And I like to do at least 3,000 words a day on at least one story. And some days it's just like, ugh, I can't do it. I'm too tired. I don't want to do it. But if I tell myself, I'll just write 100 words or I'll just do a paragraph, just start it, that you'd be absolutely amazed at how quickly that one paragraph or that 100 words or whatever else is enough to trick your brain into thinking, oh, we're writing now. Okay, right, I'll come on board and do that. So set yourself a micro goal, even if it's 100 words, and then see what happens. Even if you don't do any more than those 100 words, you've still showed up. You're still building that habit of writing. And that is really important in getting your book finished as well. So that's a good thing. The third tip I would recommend is using like a writing ritual. For some people, it's like their brain needs like a signal that says, oh, hey, we're writing now. It's writing time. Like, I don't know how that would work for you. I mean, for me, I like to make a cup of tea. I actually don't have a cup on my desk at the moment, but I actually like to make a cup of tea. And I like to, I have things in certain places on my desk and then I just go for it. Some writers light a candle. Some people put on noise cancelling headphones, which is a really good idea if you find it difficult to write without external noise. For myself, I don't mind it. Like I've usually got the TV on, just low, but I've got it on. And sometimes I'll be watching videos on half a screen while I'm typing at the same time. But whatever it is you need, that ritual is, again, it helps further your writing habit. It gets you into the habit of writing, and that's what you need. So whatever it is that you do or that works for you, put that in place and you will find that will help even on your meh days. Another idea, And I'm mentioning it because I know at least 3 other authors that do this, although I don't. But the idea is if you've gotten to a certain point of your story and, I don't know, you think it's boring, it's not working, and like if it's boring you can imagine what it's doing to the reader, right? So, but maybe don't write that bit just now. Maybe jump instead and, like open up a new document, or even in the same document, jump ahead a couple of chapters and write a scene that you're really excited about, like a dramatic reveal or a fight scene, if that's something you're really good at writing, even that awkward first kiss. Especially when you're writing fiction, it's meant to be fun. So if you're not feeling it where you are in that story, then skip ahead for that particular writing session. And then what you'll find is, as if you've written that, it actually gives you more context to be able to go back to the bits you've had before that you weren't so keen on and tweak them, because you know where you're going with it. And for sometimes that helps. So, maybe think about, for some people, they can write in these bits and then they put all those bits together. It still works. So that's for tip number 4. In tip number 5, it's another like a trick your brain sort of thing. Set yourself a timer for 10 minutes. Now, I do this. Back when I used to have my Lisa Writes channel, I used to quite often use the writing sprints I was doing on there to actually propel me into writing when I just didn't feel like it. So if you sit down and you've got your timer on for 10 minutes, I don't know what it is about a timer, but it genuinely seems to work. And the thing is that once you start writing with no pressure to do more than that, just 10 minutes, you'll probably find that you'll keep wanting to keep going. Set the timer again, set the timer again. But, like it might be that 10 minutes is too long for you, which again is fine. Try doing 5 minutes or even 3 minutes. The point is, what you're doing in those timer tricks is you are actually priming your brain ready to get going, and you will probably find that you'll end up writing for hours, maybe, if you've got that sort of time. Another important part about using a timer too is for people who think they don't have the time to write a book. I mean, this works for that as well. If you set yourself 10 minutes, then you can really give yourself a pat on the back that you've done 10 minutes. And even if that's all you do that day, if you did that every day, your book is still being written. You're still working towards the ending. And that's the whole point. So you give that one a try. And finally, and this is a bonus, you know that inspiration is totally unreliable. My muse goes on holiday quite often. I don't know where they go, but I'm sure they have a really good time, often leaving me in a bit of a panic thinking, oh my God, I've got to get this story written and I haven't got a clue what to write. But sometimes you can't wait for that muse. And sometimes you do have to write those boring bits in your story. They are what link this to this. That's just the way it is. A book can't be all writing scenes, all action scenes or things like that. They have to be made up of very different scenes throughout the whole book. Otherwise, the reader doesn't get a chance to breathe. So the key to this is you've got to show up anyway. It might be inconvenient. It might be boring. It might not feel comfortable. But if you keep sticking to it, if you keep showing up, if you keep persisting, you will get your book done, even if half the time you don't feel like it. So the next time you find yourself staring at the screen, completely out of the mood to write, just remember, you don't have to write well, just write something. Set yourself a micro goal, or set yourself a timer, and just do those little bits every day until you do get in the mood of it. You could create a ritual to help you get started with your writing if something like that is important to you. And if you're really, really stuck, then skip ahead and write a scene you really wanted to write because you knew it was coming. And then you can go back and fill in the other bits later. So now all you need to do is go and write that book, even if it's weird, even if you're not in the mood. I know that's what I'll be doing when I have finished this video. So just remember, one word at a time. That's how our stories are made. So until next time, my friends, don't forget to comment if you have questions, or you simply want to. I'd love to hear how you helped push yourself into writing when you don't feel like it. I'd also really appreciate it if you'd hit the like and subscribe button. I've sort of been back from a year's hiatus, so YouTube kind of needs to see that my videos are doing well to boost me in the algorithm a bit more, so more people can see this stuff. So if you don't mind doing that for me, I truly appreciate it. And no matter how you feel about your writing in that moment, just know you can do it. You just have to find a way to get your brain on board. So until next time, my friends, we'll see you then. Bye.